Today we're going to talk about time and priority management, some tips and tricks that personal trainers can use to enhance their personal training lifestyle. So we're going to talk about some things you can do, some ways you can think, and some tactics you can implement into your daily life or progression so that you can maximize your lifestyle and professional habits and personal habits too. As a personal trainer. So we got three, starting off with number one, notes on the phone. Starting off with number one, prepare your progressions in advance. So as a personal trainer or group exercise instructor, you may or may not be dealing with a lot of clients or teaching a lot of classes. Then a lot of times too, within this profession, you move around a lot. So a lot of your professional lifestyle or a lot of your day-to-day activity could involve either, one extreme of staying at one place all day, training a bunch of clients at that one location, or teaching a bunch of classes at that one location. Or it could involve, you got two clients here, then you got three clients down the street at the park, then you got two more clients, across town, downtown, somewhere, just whatever. So I say that to say it's very important that you prepare your progressions, plans, class templates, all of those things in advance, at least a minimum of 1 week in advance. I know it's not always reasonable or feasible to say, hey, you need to prepare your shit out for the month. Some of us don't know, or there are other factors that are involved with not being able to do that. I completely understand. I like to stay as practical as possible, but at least for that week, start off with that week, then you can maybe progress to a 2-week schedule for all of your clients, classes, group training sessions, all of that. So know in advance, have it typed out, have it written all down, have all the progressions kind of set so that going into each session, each class, you're not scrambling to figure out what it is you need to do. You're not stressed out because you haven't created a class for 5 or 10 people, or, maybe even 20 people. If you got a huge class at the park or, a really good studio. So don't put yourself in that stressful situation of not being prepared, and you always have a plan that goes into being prepared. And some people may be saying, well, sometimes my client don't show up, or, I have a client that kind of cancels every now and then, and I don't want to waste time. Remember, by you practicing and staying on your craft and writing things out all the time, you gain more knowledge and you get more reps. So you get more, not only practical repetitions, so on paper or typed out repetitions, but you get a lot of mental repetitions too. So especially if you're a trainer that's just starting off, you want to make sure you're getting these mental reps in so that you become more accustomed and you become more second nature with your training. So the more you write it out, the more you plan and prepare, the better you are when things don't go as planned. The better you are when things kind of just happen out of the blue. So you'll be good to go. So that's a good way to manage your time and priority management too, because that way, let's say life happens, car breaks down, get in an argument with your girl or your friend or some shit, and then you're running behind or your whole life has altered. You don't have time to think about it, or you're not in the mood to think about it. Now you've prepared yourself to just pull out the phone and go, oh, created this shit, last Monday for next Wednesday session. So we good to go. I just got to read it off the list and coach them up. So we straight. So prepare your life that way as a personal trainer. Number 2, set alarms. So we live a fast-paced life. We live a very busy life. As I mentioned, some of us move around a lot. So set alarms for everything. Set alarms for your food. Set alarms for your appointments. Set alarms for taking a nap. Set alarms for going to sleep at night. Set alarms for, decompress or writing in your journal. Just whatever your priorities or tasks, duties, responsibilities are, set alarms for that. And then also keep a planner. I myself, I'm a little traditional when it comes to planning. I like to write things down. For whatever, my brain operates better when I write it down and look at the planner versus putting it in my phone. But of course, most people put those things in their phone. So don't be afraid to, use your Google Calendar or whatever app that you have. If you got Android or something, they got fancier, more modifiable apps on Droid or whatever. So don't be afraid to use those scheduling, planning, accountability, alarm type applications. And then the same thing with your progressions. Go out and plan those things out as far in advance as you can. So if it's October and you know you got some shit going on in February, put that shit in there right now. You know what I'm saying? Or if you know, hey, I'm meeting with such and such 3 times a week, put it in there and then set it to where it repeats every week or just whatever. Because the thing is, you can always go in and delete it. But you never want to be in a position where you didn't put it in, it slipped your mind, you missed an appointment, you're running late, it caught you off guard, you're not prepared because it wasn't on your mind or it wasn't in your planner, it wasn't in your phone, just whatever. So in our situation, really in anybody's situation, it's always better to be over prepared or over notified versus not knowing at all. And then that could end up jeopardizing a piece of, if not all of your professional situation. All right. And number 3, which is more data driven for my financial enthusiasts out there, is to do your best to save 5 to 10% of your weekly income every week. All right. So what that means is if you made $1,000, in personal training, try to save anywhere between $50 and $100 of that on a weekly basis. So you're going to put $50 or $100 in your savings account every week. All right. So why I say every week is because by doing it on a weekly basis, it hurts at first when you're not used to it. But then the more something becomes a habit, the more it becomes second nature. And the least likely you are to want to spend that money if you wait a month. So if you're only saving every month, you could have $200 to $400 build up, and then you end up, buying some shit or going on a trip or spending that shit on some food or snacks or some shit you don't really need. So if you spend it every week, it completely takes it out of your immediate life cycle on a weekly basis. So that way you're holding yourself accountable to have cushion money. We do this, or I encourage you to do this, because, we live in the service industry. In any service industry, you go through slow periods. So whether you're personal training, you're cutting hair, you're, whatever you're doing, restaurant, whatever you're doing, there's going to be a slow period, or there's going to be slow areas within the business. So you never want to be to a point where you have all of this money and then all of a sudden business is slow and you have not learned to live on a particular amount. So then now you're struggling to maintain the money that you do have. So what this helps you do is you take this money, you put it somewhere that money's secure, and you don't look at it, you don't think about it, as best as you can. And then when the slow period does happen, you have some of that to pull over and manipulate and do things with if you need to, or help cushion out some of your bills or, expenses that may come up. Another good thing you can do too is get one of those apps like Acorns or something like that. I advise Acorns just because when you put Acorns in there, it gives you like a little portfolio, for compound interest that you could potentially get. But with Acorns, you're able to take it out and then put as much in anytime you want without receiving, little to any penalty. Stash is a good one, but Stash is, and I'm not a financial guru, but to me, Stash is kind of like you put money in there and then it's like it's hard to get it out if you happen to so need it. So you want to be in a position to where it's a win-win situation with your money. So you learn to live on a slightly less percentage. But over time, you'll look up and you would have grown, thousands of dollars in an account that you somewhat, in a sense, have forgotten about. So when you hit that slow period and you're looking at your checking and you're like, oh, shit, you can, go back over into your savings and realize, oh, shit, I got like $10,000 in here. Where that shit come from? But it's because on a weekly basis, you have that auto draft of cash just coming out. So whether that's in a traditional savings account, which doesn't grow much interest, or in like an Acorns or investment type portfolio, put that money aside just a little bit, because remember, don't be somebody who you made $1,000 and you putting half of your shit in the savings where you still got to live, motherfucker. So Don't be that person that's trying to oversave, thinking that shit is smart. Then you end up having to dip into your savings account all the damn time. So be smart about it. Take your time with that, and know that saving money in the right way can help you use that money efficiently in the future. So not saving just to save, or not saving to check it off the box, but saving to eventually leverage that in the short or long term. So of course, it's situation to situation, case by case. But that's the third tip: save 5 to 10% of your weekly income every week. So smaller chunks are coming out on a weekly basis. You tend to forget about it. It becomes second nature. You look up and you got $5 billion saved up. You be straight. All right. So hope this helped my PTs out there, even other business professionals out there, because these same principles can apply to any form of business. So I hope y'all got something from this. I'll see y'all next time. Peace.